Did you do ghusl again, akhi? How many times has it been today? 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. I'm not here to shout at you and do a whole thing, but I'm here to ask you if you finally want to start removing this filthy porn addiction that I can say majority, if not sadly all young Muslim men have dealt with or are dealing with currently. Then this is the perfect video for you. And we're not going to give you a billion other reasons why porn is bad for you and it's going to destroy your soul and you're going to go to hell. You've heard this before, it doesn't work, right? What I'm going to do in this video is to ruin porn for you by exposing you to the satanic elements and the filthy corruption in this industry, as well as what we as viewers do to help aid the oppressors by watching this. Plus, you will get the solutions to either taking your first step against this or getting rid of it entirely with an entire A to Z system. Plus, I'm going to give you a free gift to help you with this that has helped, I think now 3,000 people to fight against their porn addiction with practical steps and tools as well. So if you stay until the end of the video, you get all 3 of those things. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sultan and I am a 19-year-old South African revert, and I have been on Islam for about 2 years now, alhamdulillah, and I have been on self-development for 4 years. And over the past year and a half that I've had this channel, I have helped hundreds of thousands of young men just like you with these videos teaching self-development to help them become the best versions of themselves using the Quran, Sunnah and science-based principles to develop yourself as men. And I want to do the same thing to you, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal. So let's get into it. P.S. If you are a young Muslim man who is still addicted to watching haram and can't fight against this addiction, and you just want to take you want to do something, you want to fight against it, you want to take that first step, then check out the No Step Back starter kit in the description. First action you need to actually take the means against this, bi'idhnillah. And one more thing is a disclaimer. I need you to say, wallahi, you're not going to go watch haram. You're not going to go look at girls. You're not going to go touch yourself after watching this video. This video will have some triggering words, but it's going to change your life. So I need you to just stick through it. Say, well, you're not going to leave me. Like in terms of like to leave me to go watch haram. Most people, and you know, I've made videos like this. I've made a course like this. I've made everything like this. Try and take the route of getting you to quit watching haram by telling you about you, right? In terms of what's going to happen to your soul and what's going to happen to you in the akhirah and what's going to happen to you in punishment and what's going to happen to you like just the dunya sense, like how dopamine works and how it's bad for you. But we as Muslims, we think about the people on the screen. We don't normally actually apply that. Like we should think about the people on the screen, but we normally don't. We assume, right? These are assumptions in our subconscious mind that what we're watching is consensual. That, and I say we for unity purposes, we assume that PH is a big company and that, you know, they would never allow minors on the videos, right? Because that's illegal, right? I mean, there must be a big company, they make lots of money. This is illegal. We assume that PH would never allow rape on their side, right? I mean, they're an established brand. How could they do that? This is assumptions. We assume that they don't do anything illegal. We assume that verified channels are like, you know, any other Instagram, YouTube. When they're verified, the company looks at them and they approve them. It can't be that verified channels are doing illegal things like rape, organized sex trafficking. Well, you thought wrong. Because that's exactly what happens on the PH, and that's exactly what happens in the industry. There have actually been multiple confirmed cases of child rape P and rape P on their platform. Multiple. It almost got them shut down, by the way, just a few years ago, just by having all of this. Literally, women and children, young boys even, being raped, that being filmed and distributed on PH for people to touch themselves to. Na'udhu billah. And I'm not saying you're watching this, although you might be without knowing it, which is what we're going to get into, because the rest is even worse. This industry is straight from shaitan. May Allah protect us. May destroy this industry. Ameen. Because I'm going to tell you a few of the many sex trafficking and rape stories I researched that made me wanted to vomit, made me want to cry. I didn't even know what to say because it was like, we don't even know this is happening. But it's from this knowing that we can fight against this injustice, fi Sabilillah. So, the first story I'm going to tell you is what I dubbed the Miami Bros. And essentially the story happened in Florida where there was basically ads put, I don't know if it was on Craigslist or something like that. They put online saying basically to come and do a commercial for young women, to come do a commercial for a Bacardi rum thing, right? So you would like make a video of you drinking alcohol, whatever. So over 30 young women, aged 18 to 22, they thought, I'm going to go audition to get this commercial to do the drinking thing, right? And when they came, they found that like the two people who were doing this, I'm going to name and shame, Levant Flanders, a former cop, right? And Emerson Callum, who was pretending to be the Bacardi agent. They basically came to the place and they even said like, don't bring your boyfriends, don't bring your family, it's going to distract you, you know. Makes sense, right? And so they came alone. And when they came alone, I think it was the ex-cop who gave them a drink, right? Because like, oh wow, we're doing the audition. And in the drink, he put date rape drugs. If you don't know what date rape drugs, one of them is roofies. And there are many other date rape drugs that basically just get you cooked in the mind so people can rape you. They were told they were going to go to a warehouse to meet the agent. And the girls started drifting in and out of consciousness. And what they realized when they were in consciousness is that they were being raped. The next day, they woke up, some of them, found themselves covered in bodily fluids, even bleeding, realizing that something horrific happened. And what actually happened was that while they were drifting in and out of consciousness, Callum raped them, and the ex-cop Flanders filmed them. Like, you know, Flanders himself, the ex-cop, he used to plaster his house with pictures of the assaults, right? And Callum was selling these videos online through a company called Miami Vibes. I think it was Miami Vibes Productions. And I'm not getting this from the sky. This is actually information from the Vanderbilt Journal of Law, something like that, right? This is not just from the sky. To hide the truth, they would basically edit out the parts where the woman looked like entirely unconscious, and they would keep the parts where the woman looked like they were willing participants. And the FBI said that these were some of the worst offenders they had ever seen, calling out how they used modeling sites as hunting grounds. And what shocked the FBI, how do you shock the FBI, is that when they looked at the videos, the P videos, after editing, it looked like these women wanted to be there, right? They looked open, they looked like willing participants. Like we assume everyone gets paid, this is the whole scheme, right? But when you looked at unedited footage, you could clearly see these women were completely like finished, and they were not willing participants, and they were getting raped. But these people made it look like it was. Even the FBI is saying, man, they look real. Of course, they got caught, walillah alhamd, but this looked so real. And this shows that there's a chilling question. How many consensual P videos have you watched that actually hide rape? Whether it's from coercion, whether it's from drugs, like date rape drugs, or whether it's from literal trafficking, like kidnapping people and raping them and filming it. And don't worry, these aren't abstract concepts. We're going to break down all these stories for you because they're very real, which is very sad. And there's obviously a link between the P industry and the sex trafficking industry. So let's get into the story 2, which is the worst story. It actually made me want to cry. It's disgusting. And it's basically a case from the company Girls Do P, right? It's called Girls Do Prawn, right? And it wasn't small. This is a huge company. This is not like those little Miami Vibes productions. This is like a big stuff. They had over 760,000 subs. Yeah, it was their website. They had over nearly 600 million views, and was in even a verified PH channel, ranked among the top 20 PH channel, and made over around $17 million according to the FBI. Yes, the FBI is not like it's from the sky. The FBI have done research on this. And the mastermind behind GDP, which I'm going to refer to it as, I don't want to say the word, GDP, was Michael Pratt. And this is like I think it was from New Zealand. 2019, he fled from the US because the court case came from this, and he ran away, and he ended up on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. And in 2022, he was caught in Spain, and he was extradited in 2024, walillah alhamd. And his accomplices, Andre Garcia, who was the male performer, or the rapist in this context, which we'll get to, he pleaded guilty alongside the Matthew Wolfer, the cameraman, who also pleaded guilty, and they received, I think it was 20 years, something like this, long prison sentences, right, for sex trafficking. And they pleaded guilty long before the guy ran away. So this is definitely real. Two people don't plead guilty for no reason, right? You only plead guilty when you know you're cooked. Their business model was built on fraud, coercion, and trafficking. And I'm not going to focus on, there's some parts of it where they did like P adverts, right? But they still did a bit of sus stuff. They would like say it's for a small amount of people, then they would post it on the PH. But I'm going to talk about the scariest part to me, which was that they would post modeling ads for fitness modeling, other type of modeling. I know for sure fitness modeling on Craigslist. And if you're in America, you probably know that that's a normal thing. They put ads on Craigslist for fitness modeling jobs. The thing that was scary, according to a person who went through this, she's saying that, the website looked professional. The owners, they called them, right? The owners straight called them. They called the number, they called the owner, talked about the job. This is what's happening. They even sent something called reference girls. So what GDP used to do is they hired women to get affiliate commissions by convincing the other women that, I worked for them. It was so great. It was so cool. Even when we did the haram thing, it was like not that bad. Like they would sometimes mention the haram, right, to the fitness models. They kept getting money from affiliated commissions by sending these women and making them trust. If you haven't read the book Influence, likability and relatability and social proof, these are things that help you get influenced. So we think if other people have done it, it's okay. So these people are cooked in the mind. They're getting girls to pretend like they've done it, and they would send flight info, they would send hotel info pre-flight. So it all looked legit. And what would happen is when the girls arrived for their modeling shoot, that was not what happened. They were coerced physically, psychologically, and legally to do things they did not come to do. And as we'll tell in the following story of Jane Doe 18, if the girls tried to back out, they were physically threatened. They were threatened that they would be sued. They were threatened that their flight would be cancelled. They were threatened that the videos would be posted anyway. They were threatened that they'll show the family. And so the chilling story is of Jane Doe 18, right? So by the way, there were 22 Jane Does that did a case against GDP, and they won, as we'll talk about just now, with the FBI doing an investigation for it. So essentially, Jane Doe 18 was a 22-year-old yoga teacher. She was a model. She had done it before, and she did all we talked about the Vietnam, right? About the website, calling the people, reference girls, hotel info, everything looks solid. Personally, like, people had asked her, like, of those people, they said, oh, well, we do this, like, you know, nude modeling and it pays more money. And she's like, no, don't want to do it. And even the girl said it, no, don't want to do it. She constantly said she didn't want to do the haram or nude stuff, right? Because she was a religious Christian. When she arrived, she got in a car locked. They went to an apartment, and in that apartment they told her to get nude, to take a photo. She was like, what the fudge? And she realized that there was a guy blocking the door, and there were two guys, right? One of them is the male performer, saying, get nude, we need to take a photo of you. And so she tried to complain, but she knew in this situation it's probably not gonna work, and so she did it. And then she went to a new location where she was made to papers on the table. There were three guys again, a guy standing outside of the room, and she was told to sign these papers. And she's like, but I want to see the papers. And they're like, no, sign the paper now. And so she signed them. Like, again, duress. This is coercion. Like, there's 5 guys here. You can't do things like that. And she signed them. She wasn't allowed to read it. And then she was forced to smoke marijuana and drink 4 shots of vodka. And she said she didn't want to do it. But they said, do you want it to hurt worse? And after that, she was raped on camera from 9 p.m. to what she estimates is about 3 to 4 a.m. During filming, she began to bleed, right? Vaginal bleeding. And she begged them to stop. She said, like, I'm bleeding. You're hurting me. Please let me leave. And instead of stopping, even though beforehand they said, you know, it's going to take 30 minutes. And if you have any problem, just tell us. And they lied. They actually said the more that she resisted, the longer it would last. She would have to refilm the scene. And every time that the director said or saw that she wasn't looking like she was enjoying herself or that she wasn't making enough noise, stay with me, Sabilillah, you're going to stay with me, they said they were going to have to refilm the scenes. So she had to look like she was enjoying herself while bleeding, blood was on the bed, and make it look real. Or else they would just refilm scenes over and over again. And, you know, they took breaks. One of the times she tried to run away. She ran to the telephone lines, but she found that it was turned off on purpose. She tried to run out of the door naked, and the guy shoved her back in. And they told her, like, if you're gonna leave, like, this is what you're gonna post it anyway, right? Or we're gonna sue you. They started threatening her, right? And so she went on, did it again. And even in between this, you know, scene filming, the performer Andre Garcia, like, he would keep raping her, saying that it was practice for the scene. At the end of the day, she, you know, did filthy things, and at the end she basically got ejaculated on for what the guy, the Andres, called the grand finale. And then she was instructed to blow a kiss to the camera, right, and go to the shower. From there, when the thing ended, she ran to the bathroom, locked the bathroom. She was afraid to stay out. And even when she came out of the bathroom, guess what the guys did? They ordered room service, and they were like, oh, do you want food? Do you want fries? She's forgetting what just happened. She's like, oh, don't be so angry or whatever. No, she said it now. The bed has blood on it because of vaginal bleeding, and that's caused by hurting the woman. And they basically started threatening her again to do a self-masturbation scene, right, for their site. And they kept threatening again and again and again. She's like, just kill me at this point. Like, which is crazy. Imagine saying something like that. And so after all that time, they said, okay, we'll fly out later. And she finally got to go. She was dropped off and she was sent out. By the way, she was paid less money than she was promised to do things that she never ever accepted. And she thought it was over. You know, she didn't tell anyone what happened. But then weeks later, the video was released online under her full legal name on the PH and other sites for millions to see. I think the video, what she said, was something along a few million. I don't remember exactly how many millions she said. Do not go look for it. Fear Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, say wallahi, you're not gonna go look for it. And basically she got a photo of one of her high school classmates with his pee looking at the video, saying something like, wow, I didn't know you did pee. And so her family found out. Again, this is like conservative religious family. They thought she consented, and she didn't tell them what happened. She just accepted it. So she was humiliated, stalked, harassed, even received multiple death threats, and still gets death threats today. And she didn't tell the truth until there was a civil court case where 2 women started the trial against this company, telling them about their experiences. And another 20 women, including Jane Doe 18, helped and told their stories and testified. She even said that the videos were played on the actual court. Allah protect us. And the victims won $12.7 million of civil loss in their civil lawsuit and even got the copyrights on the video. That's not what really happened. It still gets re-uploaded. Again, don't go look for it. Don't go look for it. I fear Allah. And that's not the worst part, bro. You know, like, she tried to kill herself multiple times. She ended up there for alcohol intoxication, attempted overdoses. She even tried to kill herself before the trial was done. Imagine that was your daughter, bro. Imagine that was your sister. Imagine that was your mother. Let's say your sister, for example, you know, Allah forbid, she gets a modeling job. She goes there. She's coerced to get raped on camera and look like she's enjoying it. And then millions of other people jack off to that. And she's put with death threats. She's the one who's abused by a filthy man. This is a normal woman who she said she had her whole life ahead of her, but she wanted to kill herself. She didn't know what to do with her life. Not to say that killing yourself is okay. This case proves a chilling reality that PH and sex trafficking are deeply connected. You know, the FBI called this a major sex trafficking ring, yet Pornhub hosted the content for years, making money, selling it out to people. People kept jacking themselves off to this woman's rape, right? And only got rid of it when, you know, the court happened. The scary thing is the probability that the people watching this video, that one of you have not watched a GDP video, like the company, they put their videos on PH, top rated 20, verified, is very unlikely. So the likelihood that one of the people watching this video has watched one of these videos where the girls was raped and you didn't even know is very likely. Let alone every other company. It's scary because how can you tell me that it's all consensual now? And just, you know, the complicity of PH, the women launched a trial against the holding company of PH and they won. I think they won like $1.82 million of a settlement for all of them. So the court even said that they're complicit. And this is not the only stories. There are more stories. There was a story of a 13-year-old whose nudes were put on, you know, PH and they wouldn't respond to remove it. There was a little boy that got anally raped by a man. That got filmed, put on PH. He kept asking to get it removed. Only when the FBI got it removed, they removed it, but not entirely. PH still kept on the site, right, without the video, saying that the FBI got rid of it so they could still sell ads on this rape video. Child rape video. Another one is the expert that I took a lot of evidence from, which was a person, I think her name's Layla Makelwaite, something like that. She said that her first-hand account of looking at these things was she saw a video of a Chinese man raping a girl that was clearly unconscious, and even titled the video, you know, like that in Chinese. There's animals being used for profit and sexual advances, which is bestiality. There's gangbangs, which are also likely rape, as we'll see with the next few women who came forward about the gang rangs. I don't even want to say that. And in November 2019, there was a sex-trafficked 15-year-old girl. 15-year-old girl, bro. Kidnapped, taken. And she was found after a year of being missing. And her mother reported to police that there was 58 videos of the girl being raped by her trafficker and other sex buyers on PH. The PH that you watch. 58 videos of a young girl being raped. Put on thing for other millions of guys to touch themselves to without them knowing it's even rape. And don't worry, there's still quotes from actors. You know, even if it's consensual, here's some quotes. And I don't approve anyone doing this filthy work. It's not correct. Okay? But women are naive. I can't do this. I objected. I said that I wanted to back out. But the cheerleaders came in strong. Yes, you can. You look great. You're going to be a star. Just forget we're here. I found myself sitting down on the couch in front of everyone, and the rest I recall with the memory of a rape victim. He immediately straddled my shoulders and slapped me in the face hard several times. I was shocked. The nice guy that I just met was hitting me and no one did anything. Quickly, he started gagging me as he ripped my clothes off. Fear alive, you're getting weird. He ripped my clothes off, and then the crew around me didn't stop. As I began to fight him off, literally swinging fists, telling him no. As he tore off my clothes, assaulting me, calling profane names, I was raging and crying. And when I looked over to make eye contact with the producer and beg him to stop, I was sickened to see his pleasure as he watched my abuse. Maybe it was 5 minutes, maybe more. My mind refuses to remember. But the bruises and the violation of my body continues today with the memory of my filmed rape. My filmed violation was uploaded to the internet for the enjoyment of the masses on the world's most popular P site. Another one. I just remember being so scared and so uncomfortable and in so much pain. But again, the only thing that ran through my head was that he was either going to hurt me if I tried to walk off set, or that I was going to be blacklisted, or that I wasn't going to be paid. I was also in shock. Alexa wrote, my first movie, I was treated very rough by 3 guys. They pounded on me, gagged me with their peepees, and tossed me around like I was a ball. This is on gang thingies. I was sore, hurting, and I could barely walk. My insides burned and hurt so badly, I could barely pee, and to try have bowel movement was out of the question. My first scene was one of the worst experiences of my life. It was very scary. It was a very rough scene. My agent didn't let me know ahead of time. I did it and I was crying and they didn't stop. It was really violent. He was hitting me. It hurt. It scared me more than anything. They wouldn't stop. They just kept rolling. This is disgusting. This is horror. I'm not here to say, I heard some stupid arguments online that, oh, the women put themselves in this position. Come on, guys. I don't agree with that either, but it's the producer's fault, bro. Let's just be serious. And this is what we contribute to. Again, I say we out of unity, but the PH that you watch does this. They have an institutionalized acceptance by only have 30 moderators. I think they had 30 moderators, where every year PH gets 115 years worth of content. If you were to watch it back to back to back to back to back, it would take you 115 years worth of content, and you have 30 moderators that have to flick through and guess and hope what's rape, what's not rape, what's child porn, what's 18. It's all a mess. And actually, they almost got taken down, if you didn't know, because so many people had done stories on the child P cases, the thousands that came out of child P cases and rape cases that almost got them shut down. So they had to delete 80% of their site just to save themselves and say, oh, we don't have it anymore. Only verified users are allowed now. But even the verified users, we just talked about one of the verified users doing organized crime. The rest of the P industry is even more gruesome. Even worse. OnlyFans is growing bigger and bigger. Who knows how much worse that will get. Allah protect us, right? If we don't stop helping the oppressors rape women and children, we will never be able to escape. These companies will only get better at destroying us with this content. So we as Muslims, we have to stand strong, and we have to stand with the banner of Islam in our hearts. We have to fight this injustice. I mean, we help. And the reality is that PH and any other site, you have no clue. No clue in reality, as we just proved. You don't know if a top 20 verified user on the PH was doing organized sex trafficking. Can you really look at me and say that you know that this couldn't happen to top 5 and top 10? You're really telling me that those aggressive amateur videos aren't just rape? How do you know? Do you have proof? Or did you guess? Did you hope? As we said, they edit it to look like they're enjoying it, when behind the scenes that's not what's happening. And even if it's consensual, we as Muslims should not enjoy nor accept a woman being gagged, right? With anything, with a PB, with a hand. I don't know. Why you want pain? That's weird. Or even peed on. When you think about this, I realized this the other day. I was like, wait a minute. When I'm with the boys, I'm not saying my boys, I'm saying in high school, right? I had a friend who every single time he was trying to insult someone, he would he would do this, right? And he's spread out, right? What does that mean? It's an act of disrespect, right? When you do that, you're like, frick you, right? But why is it okay when people on the internet do it to women? Real people. That's like getting peed on. That's weird. That's not normal. How can we like that? Even if it's consensual, that is what it's built around. If it's not consensual, you don't know. You don't even know. We as Muslims cannot allow filthy content of men beating up women, slapping them, as we've seen so many accounts of these actual consenting sex workers, in the sense that they are in this industry. Half the time they get beaten up and they didn't even know they were going to get beaten up. As we said, didn't even know. There was one case of a woman who, she had to do a job, right? And she said don't touch my eye, it's hurting, whatever. And she said, other than that, off limits. So off limits to these filthy people meant that she ended up with a black eye, a toilet seat on her neck. I think she got, I don't even know what else happened to her, some crazy stuff. And she alhamdulillah left the industry, bro. We as Muslims should not be allowing such filthy content, let alone giving money to these filthy owners. Our beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, could any of you beat your wife as you would a slave and then lie with her in the evening? Yet we give money to a platform even scarily watch and touch ourselves to women being raped, beaten, gagged, ejaculated on, let alone multiple guys doing this to them. Our beloved said, how a good deed to an animal is as meritorious as a good deed done to a human being, while an act of cruelty to an animal is as bad as an act of cruelty to a human being. Yet we watch on a platform that profits off, and na'udhu billah, crazy if we even watch animals being made to do sexual acts with humans. Our messenger who never hit a woman, who never scolded a child, yet we give money. And wallahi, I feared that we may knowingly or unknowingly have watched child rape or child rape porn or child porn in general without even knowing. Like I said, 58 videos of that 15-year-old girl who got kidnapped. Who knows? Do you think the men who were touching themselves watching those videos knew? They didn't know. We all have this assumption that everyone thinks runs crazy. No, these guys at PH and the filthy dogs that they are, they don't even care. They just care about cash. Our Lord praised our nation, saying, "You are the best community ever raised for humanity. You encourage good, forbid evil, and believe in Allah." Yet to our Lord we respond not only by giving money directly to them. And if you want to know how we give money, some people pay them subscriptions. Some people, it's just about the ads. It's like YouTube. YouTube makes money off ads. PH also makes money off ads. I think they had the expert said 4 billion impressions. 4 billion impressions. How much money is that? They make 456 million a year. That was what the holding company made. We assist the evil to be purported. We don't even forbid it. We purport it ourselves in worse and worse and worse quantities on the earth. Ikhwan, we're funding rape with our attention. Ikhwan, we may be funding child rape with our attention. How will we stand in front of Allah? When we assist, when we give money to the oppressors that keep allowing child pee, or half allowed, it doesn't matter if it's gone now. I don't even know if it's gone. Or if they allow companies and profit off companies that have organized sex trafficking on their side. And honestly, why I say we give them money is we make up demand. Demand supply. That's how economy works. Economics is simple. If you have demand for something, people want stuff, and you give them, and they want more, and you give them more and more and more. It is from that demand that we keep giving these filthy dogs money. Those who submit to Allah and His Messenger, those who claim La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, us, the inheritors of the mission that has expanded across the beginning of humanity, Allah's cause, to fight, to uphold justice, to strive with our wealth and our lives in the cause of Allah, for Islam. We fund the oppressor because we give them money through the ads. We fund the oppressor. Those who claim that, la, kalla, never, never again. Enough. I'm not here to tell you how bad it is for you. You know that. But it's not about you anymore. I'm calling you as a man of the ummah, as a rijal of the ummah, not as you. Those who say we are Muslims, those who call towards Tawheed, who call towards Rasulullah, who call towards all the messengers without distinction and their message on this earth, towards the haqq of Islam. I ask you by Allah, for Allah's cause, to fight and stop watching this porn. The more you watch it, the more money these shaitans get for child rape, for zina, and for purporting zina, and for destroying the society. That is what they do. Can you not see that we have something huge? Can you not see that there is legal jihad, or nafs, of the nafs, together as an ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? I ask you, if we get 10,000 views and 10,000 people never watched it again, that will be 10,000 people off the demand of these filthy sites. If we got 100,000 views on this video and the 100,000 Muslim men said no, for Allah's cause and Allah's sake, I will not watch this video. To unite with my brothers to fight against this in a struggle for Allah's sake, to fight this oppression, then 100,000 people will be out the band. Right? Imagine 100,000 people less that PH makes money off. Now imagine 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. We are 2 billion people. 2B. And we can't even fight this? It's like, come on. Not for us. It's not about quitting for us. You've heard this. We have to take a stand for the justice of all those oppressed women, all those oppressed children who have been raped, who have been embarrassed, destroyed, threatened, because of these filthy kafir owners of these production companies and of this filthy website. May Allah Azza wa Jal destroy it. Ameen. Not for us, but for Allah and His pleasure. Not for us, but to remove the sins of the ummah. Perhaps Allah will alleviate the suffering of our brothers and sisters if we stop destroying it and calling upon the punishment of this ummah. Perhaps not for us, but so that Allah's promise can come true, that indeed Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So that maybe we may get out of this weak state of the ummah and take bigger and bigger strides against this filthy, filthy, filthy institution, to put justice on this earth. Do you want to know why the earth is destroyed? Honestly, society is crashing, and it's simple. Because there's none of us left to say that, no, this is wrong, we should stop it. There's no one left to fight. In yani, what is correct and what is legal, yani of the nafs, I'm saying, to say, no, this is wrong, we gotta stop. So I call you as the rijal of the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That used to mean something. When we say bring us to rijal, yani the rijal, the sahaba, that used to mean something. Men who conquered 2 empires in their time, 2 superpowers, men who had miracles come to them by Allah's permission. Being a man of this ummah used to mean something. Yet now, what does it mean? If we can't even fight together against this filth, we can't do much for our state. Yani there's no khilafah. Frankly, there's nothing we can do. But we can do this. We can do this. So let's unite upon the pure word. My brothers, let's unite upon the pure word. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Let's unite upon the kitab and actually follow it. Let's unite upon the sunnah and follow it and obey him in fighting against this. Let's fight the oppressors who may seem huge. You know, by the way, they have a monopoly over the industry, the haram industry. They have a whole company. It's called ALO now. They're trying to do this rebrand, and I wouldn't recommend you research because it's triggering. But if you do research, do not get triggered. But you will learn some crazy stuff about who is behind the rebrand of the filth. Very interesting. Definitely. However, how many times has a small army of Allah defeated a big army? Our deeds won't go to waste, ikhwan. So don't fight because of me and you. Fight so that the oppression and the destruction and the innocent women and children who did not ask for this, who did not ask for millions of people touching themselves to their rape video, who did not ask for such filth to be done to them and then profit it off, we have to fight for them. Kafir, Muslim, Jew, I don't care what they are. That doesn't matter. It's that there's oppression and we as Muslims help the oppression. We can't be like that. We have to fight them. Even if they're big, even if we may seem small, even if there's 3,000 people watching this video, us 3,000 people can do something. As long as we unite upon what is correct, we can fight them. At this point, we can only do our nafs. But even that is the hardest jihad. So, I hope in Allah that our fight against our souls, to stay away from these websites, to stay away from this, to finally quit our current addictions. I say our again as a unity statement that will pave the way for more unity. I mean, so don't think every time that shaitan comes with waswas, don't think you're fighting just you. There are thousands of brothers who have watched this video who fight alongside you in our struggle to fight against the oppression that's happening here. You didn't even know half the things that happened here. Yet, this is happening all over the world. Imagine if it was your sister, your mother, your daughter, who got kidnapped at 15 years old. Allah forbid. And they were put to work as a sex worker in sex trafficking. And then 58 videos were made of them getting raped and put on the PH. And millions of filthy dogs, without knowing it, touch themselves looking at your daughter. Is there no ghira in that? Does it not make your heart want to cry? But it doesn't matter if there are daughters or not. These are creations of Allah. And if these filthy scum won't stop, we have to fight them. Unite in action of your nafs. You aren't fighting jihadul nafs alone. You're fighting with me, with your brothers, all over. I hope I've ruined this filth for you. And I hope that we unite and fight together to destroy this oppression to please Allah. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. We have to live up to that. Perhaps when we live up to that, Allah will fix our nation. Now that's really motivating and it's so great, and some of the people will actually quit from this bi'idhnillah. But practical steps. What can you do practically? I'm going to offer you, number one, the first step. If you want to just take that first step to start fighting, you want to actually take the means, you heard this video all the way through, you're like, yeah bro, Sultan's right, we got to fight this, yeah great. But shaitan, he loves this, this is a bunch of kalam. What are we going to do to actually make it real? And so here's how you're going to make it real. I'm going to give you the first step to quit. The first step to finally take no steps back and start fighting against it. You can start making progress against this. And that's the No Step Back starter kit link in the description. But if you are serious about this and you want to annihilate it, we have the Annihilate Prawn course in the description. It's going to give you the A to Z system. Here, do this, do that to get rid of it. Simple, easy. Plus you're going to get all the tools, plus even more modules to fight all the other haram that we have to fight. You can get that in the description as well. But I did promise you a free gift, and I do want all of you, if you do not take up my offers, which are better, to take up this offer at least. There is a free mini course I made for you on destroying prawn addiction, right? This will help you out. It's helped 3,000 people at this point, so I hope in Allah Azza wa Jalla that it helps you as well, so that you can at least not to put into action what I'm saying. Because it's very easy, but I want you to always have that mindset that you are not fighting alone, and that our battle is together. Our hearts are together. And that you cannot fight, you cannot ruin this for us. If we unite and we fight and we strive and we are true and we're steadfast, perhaps Allah will do what? Destroy it himself. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as we intended to strive, perhaps it will be an even bigger thing. But what we cannot do is we cannot allow men who say La ilaha illallah to fall for this again. We cannot allow this corruption under our banner. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.